Hi there. Last week, we talked about the importance of aligning your purpose with your core values. Today, I want to share an exercise and activity that's going to help you to do that. And I'm going to do that in just one moment. Hey, how's everyone doing? It is hot where I live and hot in other places of this country. I hope you all are keeping cool and drinking. Hydrate. Make sure you are hydrating so you don't get dehydrated. Okay, so what are we talking about today? We're talking about building a life around what success really means to you. And I'm going to give you and take you through a brief exercise to help you to do that. And I also want to share with you that because of the way I'm doing this, you can always come back to this recording and go through it yourself as oftentimes as you wish. So, our topic today is how to build a life around success, around what success really means to you. So, last week, when we talked about aligning your purpose with your core values, we talked about the importance of that and how we often chase success that is not really ours. Success that became ours because other people imposed their wishes on us. Either it was other people or it was the community or because of our gender, or because of our ethnic background. Um, Success based on those things was imposed upon us, and it may not have been what we actually wanted to do because it didn't really fit our core values. And so today, as I said, I want to take you through a brief exercise to help you to begin to recognize um, how you can start to align your purpose with your core values. I also want to start by talking about one of the things we talked about last week, and that was the gap. And when we talk about the gap, there were some key questions that I suggested that you ask yourself. And I'm going to take you through those five key questions. The first question was, what success was I told to want? What success was I told to want? Because we know that you can be extremely successful and still feel empty inside. And you can also be less accomplished than some others by outside measures and still be deeply fulfilled. And so we want to ask that question, what success was I told to want? Another question that you want to ask is, do I actually want it? Or am I just performing it because it's an expectation? Because I've done all of this work to be able to achieve and accomplish it. And so I'm going to continue to do it. But is it really something that I actually want? Okay. Third question is, what would I choose if nobody was watching? If if I couldn't fail, or if I didn't need to prove anything, what would I choose in terms of my purpose? Not necessarily my occupation or my title, but what would I choose as my life or career purpose? Fourth question to ask is, what brings me alive? What causes me to be excited on the inside? What causes me to, like, my heart leaps for joy? What gives me a charge? What makes me feel electric when I'm doing that thing? What brings me alive? And then the fifth question is, what am I doing out of obligation versus what do I really desire to do? And again, you may have spent years trying to build a career, trying to do something that you felt would um, would result in being seen or known as successful. But did you do that because you felt obligated to do it, or did you do it because you really desired to do it? So we talked about the gap, and the gap really is that difference between what we real our true purpose in life that's connected to our values, our core values, versus what we're doing because we were told that that's what we should do or that's what we should want. That's not connected with our core values. We did, I think, briefly talk about, and maybe we didn't, but when we discover that there is a gap, we might feel some grief. We might feel that, um, hey, I've been chasing the wrong thing all of these years. And you may feel a sense of grief for the amount of time that you spent doing those things, grief for the parts of yourself that are vital and important that you put on the sideline, grief for the life that you thought you were building and it turned out that it wasn't really yours to begin with. It was someone else's life. And when you come to that realization and you begin to feel or experience grief for those things, um, you might think, gee whiz, I've wasted so much time. I've wasted so much effort. I don't want you to look at that as, I don't want you to think of it or look at it as if it was a waste. I want you to think of it and um, look at it as if it was wisdom. You gained wisdom um, because you learned some things about yourself. You accomplished things. They may not have been the things that you wanted to accomplish, really, based on your core values, but you did accomplish those things and you learned some things about yourself. You also became more aware of who you are and how you want to fit and participate in the world around you. So look upon it as wisdom if and when you experience grief due to learning that there's a gap between your true purpose and your core values. So let's talk about how to discover your own definition of success. And I'm going to take you through somewhat of a values inventory. We're going to do a guided. It's going to be guided. So you can take out a sheet of paper, a notepad, so you can write some things down. This is not going to take a long time, but I want you to really think about and consider um, the guidance that I'm giving you, because this is going to help you determine what your true values, what your core values are. So I'm going to begin to walk you through something. And as I said, you can do this right now. Get out something, something to write with, something to write on. And, or if you don't want to do it right now, you just want to listen, that's fine. You can just pause and listen, and actually go through this activity after we're done, when you have time to just sit. But don't skip it. This is important, I think, because again, it can help you to um, become more aware of your core values. Okay, so let's just take a moment. Um, let's take a moment to get quiet. Just get quiet. And if you like, close your eyes if you feel that's going to help you to focus and become more in tune to what's going on inside. So I'm gonna take my take my phone out of my pocket so it doesn't fall. Okay, so if you're sitting quietly, um, softening your eyes, or if you decided to close your eyes, think about a time. It could have been yesterday. It could have been some years ago when you felt alive, fully alive. And I talked about what feeling alive means, that you feel electric inside, that you feel like this is it. Think about a time when you felt fully alive, when you were doing something and time just flew by, it just disappeared. And this was a time when you were like, yeah, this is it. This is what I am here for. This is what I'm here to do. Just imagine, think about a time that you experienced that was just like that. You know, it could have been a conversation with a friend. You could have been creating something, teaching someone something. You might have been building or fixing something. For some, you might have been in nature, or you were making someone laugh, or you were laughing. Perhaps you were solving a problem, or writing or expressing yourself in some way. You might have been leading something or organizing a program or an event. You could have been caring for someone. Maybe you were learning something new, or maybe you were a part of a community of like minded individuals, engaging in a discussion, or just being with each other. What kinds of things, other things, come to your mind with that you participated in or you were a part of, that you were doing, that caused you to feel fully alive? I'm going to give you a moment to think about that. Now, here's the question that I want to ask you. What core values were underneath that very moment? When you were doing that thing, um, what you were, what were you honoring, or what mattered to you the most in that moment? So, for some of you, you might need some examples. So, what I'm talking about is, um, as in as an example, let's say that you were in a deep conversation with a friend, And um, that conversation or being with your friend caused you to value connection or authenticity or just being heard. Um, if you were creating something, maybe you valued or value expression or beauty or um, bringing something new into the world. Um, if you're teaching or you were teaching, um, maybe you valued at the time growth or contribution or impact or influence. For those of you who were in nature and you felt fully alive, maybe you value peace or simplicity or just aliveness. Yeah, could be. What values are underneath? What values are the foundation of your moments, of those moments where you feel most alive? I want to give you a few moments to think about that. So, here's the hard part, and this is where we often find the gap. Are those core values present in your daily life right now? Are they demonstrated in the things that you do, you say, you think, and you feel? Are you living those values, and or are you living by a different set of rules that are not aligned to those core values that fully cause you to feel alive? And I know when we talk about values, sometimes get we confuse them with feelings, right? Emotions. Um, and so, what I want to challenge you to do is, um, if determining what values really are versus emotions or feelings, um, just put a value list in the in a search engine, and you will get a list of values that you can that will help you to determine what your core values are. Now, when we talk about core values, we're not talking about a list of like 10, 15, 20, 30 things. That's we're not talking about that. You can believe in those things. You can believe them, but we always have a core of values that drive what we do, say, think, and believe. It's like right here, and we consider things based on those values. To give you an example, I'm going to run through a list of values, okay? Because I have a list in front of me. But um, these are core values. They don't have to be yours, but it is a list. And as I said, you can put core values or values list in a search engine, and you can come up with like a list of like 150, 250, 500 values that, yeah, an expansive list of values that can help you determine your core. So, when we talk about values, we're talking about things like connection or community, authenticity, growth, learning, impact, contribution, um, freedom, autonomy, security, stability, rest, spaciousness, spaciousness, beauty, aesthetic, justice, fairness, family, relationships, adventure, aliveness, service, helping, mastery, excellence, or simplicity, minimalism. Those are actually values that people can hold or do hold. Again, I'm challenging you to find a list of values and then choose from there. And again, we're not talking about an expansive list. When we're talking about core values, you want to distill your list down to three core values. That, yeah, it is hard. I heard someone, I didn't hear someone, but I could imagine you all are saying, well, Marcy, that is hard. Yes, it is hard. Three at the most. You don't want a list of like 10, 15, 20 core values. How come? Because I'm not saying you can't believe in those things. Sure, you can believe in justice, beauty, rest, family, service. You can believe in all of those things. Your core values are the three, and I'm saying three because it's small. You may only have one core value. You don't want more than three, though. Your core values are those non negotiable, never changing, stable beliefs, stable values, I should say, that fuel, again, your beliefs, your thoughts, your actions, and your emotions. Those are, when we're talking about core values and when we're talking about your purpose aligning with your core value, we're talking about values that are only up to three. That's what we're talking about. We're not talking about 15, 20. We're not even talking about 10. We're not talking about five. We're talking about three values. So distill your list down to three, those non negotiable um, values that are ever present with you, that you always fall back on, that you always filter things through. Okay. So once you have your core values, remember three, once you have your core values, you want to consider how aligned your current life is with those values. And when we talk about your life, we're talking about your personal life and your professional life as well. For each of the three, if you have three, no more than three, no more, no more, no más, no más, no more, no más. I'm sorry. I got a little tickled. I'm being silly. No, I'm not being silly. I'm serious. No more than three. If when you for each of those values, again, you can have only one if you choose, but for each of those core values, ask yourself, am I living this? And if I am living this, how does it show? And not, oh, I live it in the morning, but once I hit my workplace, it's out the door. No, no, no. Am I living this all the time, everywhere, with everybody? That's a serious question. Is this reflected in how I spend my time? Is this reflected in my choices? Am I compromising these values for something else? 4 questions. Am I living this? Is this reflected in how I spend my time? Is this reflected in my choices? And am I compromising this for something else? If you are, then fabulous. You're on target, you're on track, and your definition of success matches your purpose, your values driven purpose. However, if not, you want to ask yourself another very real question. And that real question is, if I keep living the way I'm living now, am I going to regret it? Am I going to live for another 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years and regret that I did not move in my purpose? Because you don't need permission to match your purpose with your values. You don't need um, approval or an okay. You just need to do it. And you need to know whether there's a gap or whether your purpose and your values align. That's really what you need to do. So, when your purpose and your values truly align, there's a few things that you're going to experience. And success is going to begin looking a little different. It's not going to necessarily look like the largest house on the street or the fanciest car on the road. It's not necessarily going to look like um, designer wear, all of the trappings that we sometimes connect with success. It's not necessarily going to look like power or recognized power based on titles or position. Success is going to look different. And it may look like this: having time for the people you love. That just touches my heart. Having time and spending time with the people you love. Doing the work that matters to you, even if you don't earn as much. Being able to rest and rest well without the guilt, feeling like you have so much to do and you can't sit down or you can't take a nap or you can't just sit outside and enjoy the birds and the squirrels playing. Or being like a cat, just kind of laying around, eating when you want. Success also may look like, once your purpose and your values, your core values align, success may also look like contributing to your community, however that looks for you. Creating something beautiful, creating something that others find beautiful. Building a business that reflects your values. It could be that you're writing the book that you've always talked about writing, or teaching. It could be being a parent who is present, fully present in the lives of their children, not just buying them everything that they want or giving them all of the things, but actually being present, listening to them, playing shoots and ladders and letting them win. playing Uno when you don't want to, but you do. All of those things. I'm getting emotional. So forgive me for being emotional. Being a present parent, you all, that's so important. And we have so many parents who aren't aren't present. I see, this is a soapbox, I'm sorry, but I see kids sitting at, when we go out to eat, see kids with their phones playing games. Little kids in high chairs playing games on their, or watching things on their phone instead of engaging with their parents at the table. So, anyway, success also, when your values and your purpose align, success can also mean healing yourself mentally, emotionally, as well as physically so that you can help other people. It could mean having a simple life with very deep and meaningful relationships. It could mean having the freedom to set your own schedule without having to cater to other people's time frames. Success could also mean having an impact beyond your paycheck. What does true success mean to you? What does true success, true values driven success mean to you? I should say values and purpose driven success mean to you. I mean, I know that's a radical idea, but perhaps if we weren't always chasing things that are temporary and things that are going to go away, or if we weren't chasing those things and chasing things that really matter, perhaps the world will look a little different than it does right now. So, here's the thing. Here's how we can take, how I'm going to challenge you once again to take clarity. Once you have clarity about your core values, once you have clarity, take it into action, okay? Let's move, put it into action. Let's move with it. You don't have to blow everything up today. I'm not suggesting that. I don't want you to say, yeah, Marcy told me to just throw it all to the wind, throw caution to the wind. Woo, it's gone. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. Don't blow it up. Don't blow up your life. Because alignment doesn't require dramatic change. Sometimes it does, but it doesn't always. Begin to make small shifts. One decision at a time. Just choose alignment. Now that you are aware of the gap, choose to align your purpose with your values. That's just one decision. It's one decision at a time, one step at a time. Then, when you're making a choice, remember to ask yourself, is this aligned with what I really care about? Is this aligned with my core value? Ask yourself that. Another small shift you can take is to start saying no to things that don't fit your values, your core values. You say no, just no, no, I'd rather not. Your core values. Now, I know there's a lot of, we hear a lot about values, but if you're not living your values, come on, another soapbox. You can't just speak it and say it. I mean, really live it. I'm trying not to get on another soapbox, and I won't. You can also start saying yes to things that do fit your values, even if they're smaller or quieter things, even if they're not as impressive. Like speaking to people you don't know. You're walking in, you make eye contact with somebody, say hello to them. If that fits your core value, if that fits your core value. I mean, people sit in church on Sunday and they claim anyway, that's a whole different thing. I'm sorry. No, I'm going to say it. People like to quote what the Bible says and they claim that they believe it, but then they spew hate. That doesn't fit. Or they don't speak. That doesn't fit. They don't treat their neighbors like themselves. That doesn't fit. We've got to start. If we claim we're living by certain values, we need to live by those values, not pick and choose. Sorry, I had to get on that soapbox. I'm going to wrap this up. Another small shift is just choose one project, one relationship, one area of your life, and choose to align there. That's one of the things I started with. Choose one thing and align that. And then finally, notice. Notice how you feel when things align. Notice what opens up. Notice the shift. Just one aligned step at a time. You're going to feel resistant. You're going to experience resistance from others, and you're going to it's going to be feel as if you're resistant yourself because it's different. The thing is, if you're aligning your purpose with your values, you're going to experience peace unlike anything you've ever experienced before. And that's going to keep you going on the path that you're going on. So, this is a little longer than I anticipated it was going to be. I hope you watch it through till the end. And I hope this is something that's going to help you to align your purpose and your core values so that you can build a life around what success really means to you. Well, that's all for now. I'm Marcelyn Bailey. I'm dropping these breadcrumbs. I'm going to be dropping another breadcrumb in our live stream. And then next week, I'm going to bring it all together to give you what we've been building, what I've been building that I feel is I'm just excited about it. And I want you to be excited about it too. But that's all for now. As always, take good care.